On February 3rd, Karl Jacobs streamed the tale from the Dream SMP. This took place sometime in the 16th century where people gathered at the house of Sir William III for a masquerade. But soon into the party, it turned into a nightmarish experience for some of the people. Before the video starts, I just want to tell you guys to comment down below, like the video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Anyways, let's begin. So the stream starts off with Karl arriving sometime in the 16th century to the house of Sir William III, who was played by Technoblade. At the house, he meets Technoblade and his butler, who is played by Ranboo. After that, Technoblade tours Karl around the house while talking about how rich he is and how he hates poor people. Then the guests of the Masquerade show up one by one. The first to arrive is Oliver Cumbucket, who is played by Fundy. The second is Lord Sebastian, played by Bad Boy Halo. The third is James, who is played by Sapnap. The fourth is Liaria, who is played by Nikki. And the last to arrive is Drew P. Wiener, played by the amazing Quackity. Shortly after, all of the people head to the ballroom for a drink and end up playing Duck Duck Goose for the party to begin. Shortly after, they get bored of it and end up trying to do something else. But the lights turn off and everyone sees a glowing sword held by Nikki, but no one knows that it's Nikki yet. So they all scatter as they see that the person holding the sword has murderous intentions. So they all go to hide out, and Karl hides in a small compartment in the wall using a trapdoor. The murderer, Nikki, opens the hatch and Karl closes it, but doesn't see Nikki and only sees the sword. The murderer had a spectral arrow outline, so it was obviously clear that the murderer was Nikki. Then the lights turn on and it was revealed that Nikki killed Quackity in the library. So everyone gathered around in the main lobby and they don't know who murdered anyone because, well, Quackity was the poor one most poorest out of everyone, so it didn't really matter to anybody, especially Technoblade. And then the lights turn off again. They all go to scatter, and then the murderer looked like Fundy this time. But why would it be Fundy? After the lights came back on, it was revealed that Nikki was found dead, and Fundy was trapped in the aquarium. But he did this to make it seem like he didn't kill Nikki. Then the lights shut off again, and this time, Bad Boy Halo and Karl are hiding with each other. And this time, Fundy actually kills Bad Boy Halo, but Karl doesn't see because he's too busy crying in a corner. And then after the lights turn back on, Karl is 99% sure it's Fundy, but for one last check, they pair everyone up. So Technoblade and Karl are together, Sapnap and Fundy are together, and Ranboo is by himself because, well, he's the poor commoner. So then they wait for the lights to turn back off and they both scatter together. So Technoblade and Karl together now, and then they're just hiding from Fundy, who is obviously the murderer. And then once the lights turn back on, Sir Billiam, which is Technoblade, and Karl walk in on the dead body of Sapnap, and Fundy is standing over it. And at this point, they're 99% sure that Fundy is the murderer. But to be sure, they just do it again. So Ranboo and Fundy go off on their own, and then Technoblade and Karl go off on their own. And then the lights turn off, and then they turn back on, and then it was revealed that Fundy had a heart attack and then died. So as of this, Karl and Technoblade think that Ranboo is the murderer, so they just run around the house and try to trap him or lure him away using gold, since Ranboo the butler is poor. And then they end up taking Karl. Technoblade takes Karl to a secret room that contains the egg.
What? Oh, it's okay. We can hide in this painting.
Is that why you have two of the same painting?
Oh, of course, of course.
Okay.
I remembered this. We'll just hide in here.
Okay.
I hope the lights don't go out.
That would suck. That would suck
really
if the lights
would
went
suck.
out in our...
Let's move in further to our room. This... Of all the rooms in this mansion, this is my favorite.
Why?
I keep something very special in this room.
What is that?
This is where I keep the egg.
Upon seeing the egg, it was revealed that Technoblade actually found the mansion which the egg was contained in and decided to protect it and nourish it and care for it so that it could live on and on.
Well, what question is there to ask?
I just don't understand. What is this?
It's just the egg.
The heck is the point of this? What is this, like some sort of lab?
Well, you see, in my travels, I found this mansion, and it's actually a breeding ground for this mysterious egg. And so I renovated the mansion. I built around it, and in my spare time, I feed poor people to the egg. The egg demands poor people as nourishment.
So, but you couldn't have been doing any of the killings.
Oh, no. No, the egg did that.
What do you mean the egg did that?
Well, you see, the egg can persuade people to do what it wants.
Okay.
Karl, why are you backing up? Karl, come back here.
What do you mean? I just don't
Do not fear the egg, Karl. Do not fear the egg.
So you've been in control of all of these people?
Oh no, the egg has been in control.
The egg controlled the people. It told them to kill one another and use it for sustenance and nutrition so that it could survive. Then the egg grows hungry yet again, and then Rambo chases Karl around the house and succeeds in killing Karl. But not really.
The egg is hungry.
What?
I'm sorry, Karl, but
I'm not poor.
it's the first quarter of the year, Karl.
It is January.
We're at record low. We're barely left January. The ad revenue rates are still in the trash.
Oh dear God!
Get him, Butler! Kill him and his low revenue per thousand.
After this, Karl blacks out and arrives at a place that looks like heaven. We can all assume that based off of this, he's probably died. But then he goes down this big, huge hallway and finds a book on the floor titled The In-Between, which states the following. This is the land of the In-Between, a world where you've been to a few times now. It's time to comprehend more of what's happening to you, Karl. The In-Between acts as your gateway for traveling in time. It isn't a dimension you're familiar with, but in some senses, it's a home away from home. The key to you grasping more of your understanding of your time-traveling abilities lay within the gorgeous castle you will soon get to traverse. Fear not, this is not a place to provoke harm, but a place to feel at ease. After this, Karl heads to a tree with a book on it that is titled Knowledge 1, which states the following. You don't get to choose when you time travel or when you return, but you already know that, and that is something that will remain true. Something that doesn't need to remain true, however, is your body's deterioration. I know that every time you time travel, you lose more and more understanding on who you are, and this is something that you can absolutely solve in the future. I guarantee if you explore this castle enough, you will one day know what to do to stop losing yourself and have better control over your mind. Good luck. After this, Karl heads to a watchtower of the castle, where up there he finds a book titled Warning, which states the following. I will leave you with one clear objective. You do not have a choice in the matter. You will continue to time travel and you will continue to regroup back here in the in-between. But you must continue to write stories along the way. The preservation is worth every second of your time. These stories are important to continue to share what the world is and who you are. More important than each story individually is the library itself. Next time you're back to your library, you need to move it. Find a peaceful land and start fresh. Try to get everyone to join you that will, but don't let anyone know about where the stories really come from. Don't let anyone know about the in-between, about what the in-between is. And don't let any harm come upon your library. Till next time, enjoy yourself. I hope to see you back here soon. After this, Karl looks at the huge castle and is mesmerized by it. He then travels back to present day at the Dream SMP. He arrives at his library and goes to write about his journeys of the Masquerade. The Masquerade. A group of rich people come together to party, or so they thought. What began as a group of friends having fun developed into a nightmare for many. A suspicious mansion owner ended up using his powers to attack and murder each of his guests through manipulation in ways we are unsure of. Karl then places the book next to the others with the painting corresponding to the Masquerade. He then writes his second diary entry. Diary number 2. The In-Between. A place I don't quite understand. I feel like I've been there before, but I can't put my finger on it. I can't keep losing my memory, and it seems like every time I go to the in-between it happens. But I can't just stop going. But maybe there's more to the place than that I'm just unaware of. I just have to keep looking deeper and deeper into the in-between so I can find a way to ensure that I don't lose everyone that's close to me. I need to move this library. It needs to be preserved. I will find every way possible to ensure that no matter what, I can do my part to bring happiness to these lands. One preserved story at a time. Don't forget yourself. He then finishes writing his book, places it in his chest of the diaries, and then blocks up his library and heads out of his house and ends the stream. Alright, analysis time. So from all of this, we can assume that the egg has been around for centuries upon centuries, possibly dating back all the way to the 14th century of the Dream SMP. This is because masquerades were a thing that came up around the 16th century of the SMP, so, well, the egg can probably be around a teenager or around like that kind of age within the 16th century of where it's being held in the masquerade party. And based off of that, we can also assume that the egg has been maybe an old person, like old, very old, or maybe an adult within the present day of the Dream SMP. This is also because, well, it's significantly smaller in size in the mansion than in the present day SMP, and the egg has been around for a long time, and it was kind of being protected by Technoblade and kind of being released, so it could have also been less powerful as a child or a teenager, and it could have grown with a power as it eats more people, kills more people, it drains their energy, it becomes older, because in the present day Dream SMP, it's grown everywhere. We can also take away the fact that the in-between serves as a gateway for Karl to time travel, and kind of this place where he can just rest, maybe, as stated in the books. But we do know that Karl has no choice to time travel, and he never knows when he could time travel. But he doesn't really know why he is time traveling. But we don't know if he knows why, because he keeps losing his memory, his body is deteriorating. And we also don't know if Karl was created there, because the books, whoever wrote the books, was telling Karl that this is his home away from home. So this raises the question, was Karl created there? Is he like manifested? Was his sole purpose to time travel? Was he to protect people? Is he being a puppet? Like, is someone controlling him and forcing him to do whatever they want? So based off everything that has been shown to us from the Masquerade, we can probably theorize a few things. Well, I have theorized at least 4 theories of what could happen with the SMP. So the first thing is that the egg is there in the Dream SMP to, well, devour it, destroy it, consume it again. And kind of, it's controlling Bad Boy Halo and Frost and Puns to be its guardians or protectors. And we can assume that the egg is hungry because it's been kind of getting Bad Boy Halo and Anfrost in them to kind of take people and drain their energy. Kind of like what they did to Sam, where they put him in that little containment chamber, and his energy and all his stuff was drained. And as they released the egg more and more and more, they also kind of fed it, I guess, with more blocks, because like when they covered it in obsidian, it grew bigger because it absorbed the obsidian. So maybe the egg is there if like the egg gets enough food, or if it destroys everything, it'll go into another hibernation, and perhaps maybe the egg has destroyed generations upon generations of people in the Dream SMP. Another theory that I have is that Karl's books will one day explain the egg, because as we know that the mansion contained the egg, if Karl were to time travel, he could potentially write about the egg one day, and if people discover about his writings and his library, say if Bad Boy Halo were to discover it, then they could potentially see the greater power of the egg, and this could potentially lead to the Eggpire maybe getting Technoblade, because Sir Billiam III is clearly, well, Technoblade is clearly a descendant of Sir Billiam III. So maybe somehow Technoblade and the egg have this connection that they don't know of yet, and maybe Bad Boy Halo and Anfrost might try and capture Technoblade so that the egg can become more and they can communicate with the egg better, so the egg can spread its reign across the SMP. Now, I have another theory about Karl being stuck within the in-between. This is, if Karl were to move the library and potentially find another spot, this could lead to the discovery and the destruction of him and him being able to time travel and maybe the in-between. Because even though he is trying to recruit people, well, in the future, maybe trying to recruit people, since he does want to recruit people, since the books did say, protect anybody you can, and if anybody wants to help along the way, make sure that they understand, but they can't know what you're doing or where these stories are coming from. So perhaps maybe that one day, if it's discovered, then a greater evil could harness his powers, perhaps like Dream or Ranbu, because Ranbu has been teleporting, has been having weird stuff to him. Dream is kind of this evil guy, so he could go back in time, rewrite history to go in his favor, bring back Shalat, who knows. My final theory is that Karl was specifically made to time travel and to warn and protect people. But as the years go on, he realized that whoever created Karl is kind of this villain or greater evil, and it could be someone controlling him. Maybe he broke free of this control, and whoever created Karl or was the villain that Karl had to face had wiped Karl's memory and forces him to keep on time traveling, because if he were to stay in one spot, like the in-between, somewhere in the past, present, or future, then maybe he could regain his knowledge of what the person that created Karl was, and maybe the intentions behind this person, and who knows, maybe the real goal of him was to destroy everybody and kill everyone, or maybe it was just to help people. But we have to wait to find out. And yeah, that's what I have gathered and theorized from the Masquerade stream. I just want to say thank you guys for listening to everything. Even if you tried skipping around and you're hearing this now, please take a moment to subscribe, like the video, comment down below some more theories you have, some more suggestions of video ideas I should do. I have like two videos coming out. I might be recording a reaction soon. Yeah, so don't forget to sub, like, leave a comment down below, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.